It's Thursday night. All ye critters, come join us. It's time to continue our flight. There is magic and mystery from darkness. Our friendship will rise. But one thing's for sure, we never give up on the fight. Oh, get ready. It's Thursday night.
So, last we left off, Bell's Hells in the city of Bassaris in the Hellcatch Valley had been chasing down the individual known as Armand Tresci, who escaped from Drusar after being tied into some very dark stuff. You managed to uncover the fact that he was currently held in the seat of disdain. Not
Deeds of despair.
Should I give you despair? No, the seat of disdain, under guard of the Paragon's Call. Upon confirming his location there and putting together your plans, you also discovered that Birdie Calloway, the mother of Fern, was also traveling to town and has been doing so for some business for some time. And along this way, you encountered an individual named Dusk who had an amnesiac history that seemed to tie with the Calloway parents as well. This chance meeting led to some interesting bonding, some tension, some awkwardness, but nevertheless, kind of briefly inviting this bright-eyed individual into your found family for the time. And upon growing close to uncovering the means of getting to Tresci by entering the Death Wish Run, an extremely dangerous, deadly, and really fun race through all manner of streets and terrain around the city of Bassaris. You succeeded in doing so and made your approval entry into the Paragon's Call to pursue this threat. The next day, upon traversing to Imahara Joe's place to turn in your loner crawler, as well as possibly looking to get the other one repaired, you watched as a skirmisher crawler rode up with Birdie Calloway in tow, at which point Dusk reached out and grabbed both of your arms and revealed the form that you know as Dusk to perhaps not have been the true form that you expected. Instead, seeing behind a somewhat opalescent multicolored skin upon pale white hair and dark, dark attire. And that was where we left off. So here, picking up in the middle of Imahara Joe's shop with him in the back and a couple of the interns kind of scattered amongst the shop, not really noticing what's happening at the moment, the rest of you look tensely at this reveal as Birdie has a look of fear and anxiety in her face and looks over to Fern also. You led them right to us?
What? Wait, why do you look so different?
I'm sorry I had to lie to you, Fern. Do you want to tell her, or shall I? What you really are.
Go. Go right now. Run. Don't get mixed up in all this stuff.
Don't go, Fern. I haven't done anything to harm you or your friends, have I? And I've had plenty of opportunities. This person's as much a stranger to you as I am. Possibly more. Isn't that right?
Well, somebody's got to start talking or we're going to start fighting, so I urge that to start happening now.
I can only surmise that this creature has been sent here by the Unseelie. Your father and I, we went off to do some things to
go save the world? Those are the lies that you told your little girl.
That's not a lie. We're working on things that are important.
You've been getting these arcane batteries, these devices, right? What are you using them for?
Important things that aren't privy in mixed company at the moment.
And what is the Unseelie
What is
court?
the Unseelie?
I'm so confused.
Fern. Run. And she begins to release the fingers from your arm. And immediately begins casting a spell.
No, wait.
And as she snaps she vanishes from sight. And is going to try and pull from your grasp.
All right.
You watch as the individual you knew as Dusk, the artist formerly known as Dusk, their arm gets jerked to the side, and you see one of the tables get shifted and things tumble off onto the side and crash onto the ground. But you watch as their arm holds firm out in the middle of space.
Orem double rolls through Fern's legs, Dusk's legs, and draws his blade and presses it into the small of Dusk's back.
We're just getting acquainted. I gave you the opportunity to tell them. Your parents are nothing but a couple of charlatans. They're grifters, important at the Sealy court. Everything they've ever told you is lies. They prey on the foolish and the weak-minded. And they stole from the Unsealy court. What did you think was going to happen?
If you want to have a conversation, why don't you let go of my friend? And I press it half-inch into her back.
You hear from the space where you assume Birdie still stands. What we took didn't belong to the court to begin with.
And it belonged to you then?
No, but better in our hands working towards a good goal than being stuck in a vault somewhere.
I shapeshift into the hottest half-elf man that you have ever seen in your life. Orem, invitation still open.
I stab her in the back.
Roll for an attack.
17.
So you feel the pain as the blade kind of carves through the outer layer of your armor, finds flesh and digs about 1.5 inches to 2 inches in, missing anything vital, but enough to cause your muscles to seize up. The reaction is yours.
Orem, don't you want to hear what Mama Calloway has to say before you go further with this?
Yeah, just let go of Fern's hand. Huh?
Absolutely. I let go of Fern's, but I keep my grasp tight on the invisible hand in mine.
Why are you going after my
Your
parents?
parents are thieves. They have stolen what is ours.
No, they haven't. No, they didn't steal anything.
Tell her.
We did steal, but there are things larger at work here than any of this bullshit that this one's toddling after.
Yes, there are bigger things.
What is the Unsealy court?
There is a complex series of politics and alliances in the Feywild. You're familiar, the Sealy court, where Fern comes from. There is the Unsealy court as well. I am a representative of the Unsealy court, and they stole from us, threatening to throw all of it into disarray.
And dear representative, what is your real name?
I am you. You is me. Yusufayed. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance again.
Yusufayed?
Yusufayed?
Nice to meet you. Pleasure. Oh.
With this now, at that moment that you are distracted, clutching and giving a kiss to the hand of your creepy friend, you feel an immediate tug and a twist, and your grasp on Birdie is lost. And once more, you hear Birdie's voice go, "Don't get involved."
I'll come along quietly, if you just want to talk.
What are you trying to do with her?
Take back what belongs to the court and enact punishment. You all understand that, don't you?
We're gonna need more than vagaries.
Yeah, what was taken again?
A very powerful artifact.
Oh.
The voice of Birdie, now distant in the room to try and remain as sourceless as possible, but still kind of coming from what would be considered, if you're looking in from the front, the far right back corner. Her voice is, "She's only here to kill us. There's no other way out of here."
How can your daughter believe anything that you say to her? I may have lied about who I was, but I have told you the truth about my motives. I've told you the truth about who you are. I've told you the truth about your parents, and she doesn't deny it.
I haven't said a single lie to Fern.
Well, you did say that she was only gone for 6 years or something.
It's
but
only been 6
but
years!
she told us it was 90.
Goes quiet within the room. We'll figure that out.
Have you been sending her postcards? Things to remind her how much you care about her?
I have them. I have them all.
Who sent them then?
The invisibility remains, but the voice comes through again. Fern, there's a lot of things we gotta talk about and figure out, it seems, but me and your father have never lied.
Does literally anyone want to tell us what it is you are doing?
Taking back my stuff. I told you the day that I met you, nobody touches my stuff nor the stuff of the Sealy court.
Maybe we should have Birdie tell us what they
Go on, Birdie.
are doing with the thing that
What
was
are you
taken.
doing with the thing that you stole from an entire governing body?
Yeah, Birdie.
Yeah, maybe it kills droves of people, and maybe we shouldn't let you have it back, but maybe it's...
As you're finishing this statement, kind of talking in the space where you last heard Birdie's voice, there's a rapid thump, and heavy impact sound right in front of you, as if something's feet had left the ground for quite an arc of a leap. And right as the impact hits the wood in front of you, you feel a sharp pain in your abdomen. As the rest of you watch Birdie in her jacketed attire from before suddenly apparate in front of you, blade kind of jammed in towards the waist, and looks right over you and says, I said, go!
Orm repositions opposite Birdie.
18 points of slashing damage, that includes the sneak attack damage. And is going to attempt...
I know. I just say, stop! And I'm going to try to command Birdie to stop.
Can I
Birdie.
can I take half of that damage?
You can if you'd like to.
Cast it at second level and try to get both of them.
I fail. Yes!
Birdie succeeds. So as you slacken, Birdie grabs you from behind and takes the blade and just kind of holds back, kind of facing the rest of you with a pleading glance in her face. You don't understand. They're here to kill me.
Please
They're here to
make
kill
us
your father.
understand. I don't
They're going
know.
to kill everyone.
How do we know?
We just got one right now. Let's ease down. Ease down.
Yeah, we'll promote a neutral environment, but right now you're the only one poking somebody with the sharper part.
Can Orm take the blade off of Dusk's hip?
If you're doing this overtly?
No, plain as day, walking right up.
Okay.
While
Are you
Birdie's
going
got
to...
him.
Trying to wriggle that out of the way.
Okay. So for this would be a contested athletics versus either athletics or acrobatics roll.
17.
19.
Okay. So the blade is knocked free from use.
Take it.
Fern, what do you want us to do? Following your lead here.
I'm very confused. I don't really know. I don't really know either of these people very well.
Well, one's related to you, so you better get her talking.
Okay. What are you trying to do?
What are you trying to do?
You see this intense look in her eye, kind of looking back at you and trying to figure out the right words. Look, you were born Exandrian before we took you back to the Fae. You're born under a flash of that ruddy-ass moon, and since we brought you back, that moon's been showing through in the Feywild where it wasn't supposed to be. No one believed us, and we've been looking into it for a while. And so we had to take something to help us figure out what the hell is going on.
Wait, I was born under a...
Choose you believe me or you believe this person.
I produce, my flame blade at third level and I stick it into your belly.
Okay. At this point, I think we're gonna roll initiative. Holy shit!
I know Ellica is here. That's what I do. Lots of money. Oh man.
Oh no.
Guys, that was a sexy 20 minutes.
Money.
Holy cow.
Since you are technically taking the initiative, we get one strike with your flame blade.
I don't know anything yet.
Nope.
That's right.
Oh no!
It's a delicious
Natural
mess.
one.
You watch as Fern creates this massive flame blade and rushes towards you. How do you react to this to avoid being struck?
If you kill me, there'll be worse assassins coming after you. Everyone in the Fey Court is after you.
Ooh.
You Jesus. Hold the blade at bay. In that moment, the phrase kind of cutting through, and Birdie's like, "Don't listen to her."
Why is everyone after us?
Orem, you're up.
After us? What?
I'm going to do a tripping attack and drop this motherfucker on their back. 15 misses, I think, right? Natural 20 on the second, so trip attack. And you have to make a strength save of 16.
20.
You stay up. Okay, so I just slashed it across the back of your leg instead. I will stay right there with your own blade pressed, aimed at your chest.
I'm gonna jump off the bar. I'm gonna run across the room so I'm in front of those doors, and I'm gonna hold my melee attack action until you or Birdie comes this way.
Okay, you got it.
You really should tell us what you want to do here, Birdie, because I'm fucking siding with you. That's it.
Okay. So as Birdie stands back, in a similar way that the flame blade extends from your hand, Birdie's left hand suddenly begins to apparate this like pitch black blade of shadow that just emerges, and she grasps it and looks to you, Fern, kind of like both of you taller than you and kind of glaring over. Says like, "Keep coming unless we finish it."
Okay.
I was gonna go ahead and take 2 strikes. So it's gonna be a 13. And this goes for a swing, and how do you dodge it?
Just sort of crumple for a second, then pop back up.
Nice.
Okay.
That's
I'm going to try the flame blade again. Since it's out and ready to go.
Maybe we could just get along.
No, it's delicious.
No.
19.
You strike at me, and a flaming sword cuts into my shoulder. I grab your hand for a moment, and I stare into your face. I'm sorry I had to lie to you.
Why didn't you just tell me the truth?
Would you have believed me?
Probably.
It's a shame then. My bad.
I am going to bamf out Mister
Okay.
behind
You.
You just see shadows start to seep up from in between the cracks of the floor panels in the ground, and they circle up around Birdie, you, and Fern as I cast Bane on them.
interesting.
Please, I know emotions are high, but let's just
So
stop
saving
hurting
throws
each other.
are. Is it
Their
Constitution?
saving throws, it is, no, it is a charisma saving throw.
Charisma.
So, you know.
It's a fail on Birdie.
17.
Yeah, that saves. Just saves.
25.
So just Birdie gets banged.
Just Birdie.
Birdie got banged.
Birdie got banged.
The shadows kind of wrap
Birdie got
and
banged.
begin to intertwine within bits of the fur that kind of encases her lower half.
Saving throws?
And attacks.
Easy Grand Ole Opry.
Dustin, you. We don't want to kill you, but also we let you go. You can't just go killing Fern's parents either. I'm so conflicted.
I turn into Imogen.
Ooh.
Alma, why would you want to hurt me?
Okay. Oh, I don't like that though. I don't like that. No.
So that's
I
your.
was gonna do something else, but then you go and pull that.
Remember when you all found me in the alley being attacked by people trying to steal from me? You murdered them. You murdered them, and then Ashton, you stole their shit.
Just business.
Right. And so why am I the bad guy now? I could have killed any of you a million times over on the bike with Orem. I could have smashed you while you were in my pocket. I could have left you to die on that bike, but I didn't. And now what? Now what? I'm going to die here, and you're gonna have no answers, not from your mother, not from any of the assassins that will come with much worse intentions than me.
Then I guess we'll just have to keep killing every single one of them.
It's a good point. Sign up for That's a good point. She's got it. They've got answers. Like,
The rest of you, good luck.
I am going to cast Detect Thoughts on Birdie.
Let me whisper it to you. Well, actually, I'll say, are you diving, pushing past? Okay.
Immediate.
Let's go.
Make a save on that.
With minus the D4.
Minus the D4 makes the difference. That's a failure.
Bane.
Wow, this is a long ass whisper.
She's serving some.
I could do
some
this
failing.
again.
Look at Laura's face.
I know.
She looks like she's.
This is a lot. This is a big dump for 6 seconds.
This is the first time
Look
they're
at her.
going like a second level dig.
Yeah,
or one of
this
them.
is.
Look at her. She's like she just went on Space Mountain for the first time.
Yeah, kinda.
For my bonus action, and I'm gonna talk to you, and I'm just gonna say, we can make this stop. We just need to talk.
Can I scoot around the walls of the room at all?
You can, yeah.
I have 40 feet.
So yeah, you can get right up against Birdie right here.
So I can get there?
You're a little bit, you're kind of like against the wall and like scooting as far away, which means it gets you up against the table where Birdie is. Birdie's still above the table and like at a 5-foot diagonal from you, but it's right there, yeah.
Can I grapple?
If you'd like to, yeah.
I'm going to rage and grapple.
So you have Birdie grappled.
Orem circles around to gets behind you and slaps you in the small of the back, and you need to make a dex save. 15.
Ouch.
20. Natural 20.
The bead of imprisonment smashes on her back, on their back, and does nothing. Nothing.
No.
But we haven't wasted it yet.
Yeah,
Right?
that's it.
That's
right?
it.
It smashes. It smashes.
My God.
Well. Okay. We'll move to Plan B on that one.
We're all gonna talk it out. Birdie, chill the fuck out.
There's a brief moment, we'll say here, at the what would be Birdie's turn. The initiative order is going to go ahead and pause.
No more stabby stabs. I think we need to have a little consideration that you didn't attack anybody, had all the opportunity before and after the reveal. Nice dramatics, by the way. Top marks. Birdie, I'm glad you've reunited with your daughter, but holy fuck, we need a little bit of context because she deserves it, we deserve it, and we're not killing somebody we really have no idea who they are without it.
I know you're trying to do the right thing, but from the looks of it, you're the bad guy.
Gives you a confused look.
How do you know the Nightmare King?
Knew it!
What? How?
I knew it!
What?
Look, some things are bigger than quabbles, and Ira's done some bad stuff in the past, but it's the only person that can help us with this thing that's much bigger than all of us.
He tried to kill us.
You had some good
He
points.
mentioned he ran into you, but he didn't kill any of you.
It was a bad man doing a lot of bad things.
And there's a bad person coming in here to do more bad things. And me and your father maybe have not done some great things either. Look where we come from. We're beings based on whim. And for this the first time in both of our lives, we found something that's bigger than all of us. And we've sacrificed a lot to do it, and we've worked with people we're not proud of. But there's something real strange going on.
If you tell us, maybe we can help and do the right thing.
I'll tell you. If you promise not to let this one go back and tell the rest of her kind what we're working on.
I think you gotta help us understand what's going on right now, man.
We're still figuring it out. Look, we already knew there was some weird connection with you and that red Exandrian moon, but we only have the light of Katha in the Fey realm.
Well, you don't have the red moon in the Feywild?
Rhodes is terrestrial to Exandria. Only Katha's light from the Moonweaver finds its way to the Feywild.
Except now.
Except for about 7 or so years ago, it began poking through. And what many have been kind of figuring out, that's strange and odd. It's been offering some odd boons on that side that the Unseelie have been more than eager to try and utilize. But the more we began to look into it, because of its connection to our fern, the more we found there's a lot of unhealthy history behind that moon. And your father had, well, as part of his attempts to try and figure this out, he began to have visions. And nobody believed us. He said he saw something about this red moon tearing through in the Feywild and just leaving devastation in its path. And in the center of it, he kept seeing you. That's why we didn't take you with us, because we knew when we did what had to be done, we'd be considered fugitives. That's why we left you with Maury, because we knew you'd be safe there and they wouldn't connect you to us while you were there.
How old are you now?
I mean, it's hard to keep on years, but, I'm a healthy early 50, maybe.
Looks like it.
Aren't you 112?
How is that possible?
I'm a lot older than you.
You mentioned something strange about that. I get the feeling that maybe,
You've been gone for a very long time.
You said the Unseelie court was taking advantage of Rhodes. What is she talking about?
They were working with somebody, some Exandrian folk to try and put something together, something arcane that was going to help further their boons from the Red Moon, and we tried to warn them against it, that it wasn't something to be bringing any good their way, and they laughed at us, cast us off. So we took what was the center of what they were building.
What are we talking about?
What is it?
That's above my pay grade.
Well, it's not above yours. You know what it is.
It's the Moontide Crown. It's an artifact. We're still kind of figuring out the depths of it, but it has strong ties to the Moonweaver and the connection of the perpetual moon glow we have in the Feywild. And we're still trying to figure out why it was the center of what they were building, let alone who they were working with.
What were you building?
Well, this is where we need Ira's help. Me and your father aren't really machine savvy. So we tried to recall what the basis of what they were constructing. He's not a good man, but he's clever.
I was killing children. Do you know this? He was scooping up vagrants and youths.
I'm certain he was doing it at somebody else's behest.
That's not good.
Look, and I didn't realize that was the case.
What are you trying to make?
We're trying to build a device to discern the true nature of Rhodes, and why everything's overlapping. I mean, we have about a month till Fesserin. On the 21st to 23rd, there's something that Hondir mentioned called an apogee solstice that's coming.
We can try to get you out of this right now. Not if you're going to continue to work with that one.
Look, I can take you to him. We have no blood attached to him. He's a necessary device to these ends, and to be fair, he sees in his own weird way the dangers of what might be coming. We're close, it's missing a couple things. I need to take you to talk to Hondir. He knows it better than I do. I'm not a science person.
Who's Hondir?
Hondir's a friend that we made here in the city a while back who's also very concerned with all this going on.
Here's my proposition. Short timeline. It gets hairy, in a month. Right? So here's the thing. I'm real old, but I like a little risk. I would wager that we could stave off other incursions for a month, if that's what it takes to figure out if there's anything to be done to prevent future bad moon flappy stuff. I know that might not be your assignment, but it might keep you alive long enough to go back to the Unseelie Court with more information than you left with. If in a month you can't produce results, you get the item back.
Honestly, if we don't succeed in a month, there's no reason for us keeping it. And if we do succeed, there's no sense in us keeping it.
What would prevent other assassins from coming?
The return of the crown and the death of the Calloways.
Calloways? Like
just the two?
Like just
or
those
also...
two? Yeah, because she thinks she's 150 and was...
I will say,
Know about me, so
they don't
it
know
should be
about
okay.
Fern. So at the very least, when all this is said and done...
Oh, they know.
You told them?
I was just doing my job.
Fern, we told you we had to go do something important. We left you with Maury.
Yeah.
We've done everything that we've been trying to do to keep you safe. There's no point if I lied to you.
You guys were just gone for so long. But, you know, that's how time just works. What did you have Maury do? What did you have her? You said you needed her to do something?
I didn't know how to communicate with her. Neither did your father. So Ira said he needed something to finish the device, and so he managed to reach out to her and said that she'd be sending something along.
Nana did send, well... Maury sent me with something to give to you in case I saw you, and...
What is it?
It's just it's...
A rock or something?
Yeah, it's just a little green gem.
Gem? Can I see it for a second?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to see it.
Oh, yeah.
You look at it.
And
it looks like a green disc of glass. It's like rough on the edges, but it has like a smooth curvature to it, almost like a lens. But it's like a deep emerald coloration, and as kind of the light hits it, it has almost like a slight rainbow flash across it, like an oil slick on a puddle. It's not like a known magical item. Okay. But the best sort of term you can come to is what's called a weave lens.
A weave
lens?
Weave lens.
And you kind of pull it up, and as you glance through it, and you kind of move, kind of looking through it at everyone around you, every piece of magical equipment that your friends are wearing seems to be giving off a glow. And then if you focus on the glow for a second, you can't really, you're not sure the nature of it, but there's like patterns and letters and symbols across each of them.
So you were supposed to give this to whom again?
Well, Grandma Maury gave this to me, that if I ever saw my parents, I would give it to them.
Oh.
So...
Well, it doesn't seem harmful.
No, what is this?
I don't know the specifics of it, but it's supposed to go into the thing that Ira's been working on, both Ira and your father.
You're going to give it to the Nightmare King.
We are going to utilize it to assemble something that'll hopefully help us ascertain exactly what's coming. Now, I'll tell you what. You want this back? Sure. We'll give it to you when all this is done. If you can hold off, if you can disappear and be just on the tip of our tail for the next month or so, let us finish this out. We'll give it back to you. And you can return, and if you need some blood on your hands to prove it, me and my husband, I've talked to him first to make sure he's okay with it, but I'm sure he'll understand. We'll come back with you, but you do not touch Fern.
I would never dream of harming your daughter.
You'd never be able to harm their daughter.
You shake hands, and she kind of pulls you in, and in your ear says, "If you touch a hair on Fern's head, I will rip you asunder."
Face morphs again to a very attractive half-elf man.
Hard pass.
Oh, what a pity.
Take your basic ass looks and get the fuck out. You bitch.
I change into ashen and I'm like, so long, motherfucker! I'm angry!
Birdie slams the door, takes a deep breath. Oh, by the way, she's gonna have a harder time following us, and she pulls out a ring on her hand. It's like this dark kind of metallic ring. I got the sense that she was following us somehow, and it'll be the first time that I've encountered someone from her kind who have used this to track us down, so
Wait, you got that from her?
what, do you think that handshake was trying to seal a deal?
Nice. Like mother, like daughter.
I told you I'm a thief, unabashed, not a liar. On the Hondirs, then?
Yeah.
Come on.
How big of a group is everybody working on all of this?
It's just me and your father and Ira. And then we come occasionally and speak to Hondir here, who is in a similar line of research, and we kind of share information, and he has a much larger network of individuals, but for safety reasons, we kind of keep it as stretched thin as possible so people can't be traced and found to each other. I think it's that one. And you notice she's pointing to the storm cisterns, the large metallic towers that kind of wind up throughout the city, kind of looming over the various buildings and neighborhoods, these massive kind of multi-textured iron and metal constructs that collect the monsoon waters and keep it for the townsfolk and the various farmland that they can barely manage to maintain within the city. So we're going to that maintenance shed right there, and you can see maybe about 15 feet from this entrance to the cistern, not the cistern itself, but across the street, there is what looks to be a small, kind of ramshackle wooden shed that is closed and kind of buttressed against either a warehouse or some sort of a nondescript building. You're uncertain what the interior of it holds, but she kind of looks around quickly. Hello? Hondir? It's Birdie. Hondir?
Why do I hear more voices? There are more foots. I think you're being followed.
No, they're with me. I think I have some folks who are at least curious about our work.
Let me see them.
And you hear... The trapdoor pushes over, dust kind of clouds out in the space a little bit. And you immediately see there, like, standing beneath this kind of hunched, crotchety-looking goblin who has this, like, massive monocle in one eye and the chain that kind of dangles down and is attached to a lapel pin. It looks like he's wearing a nice jacket, but it's just covered in dust and it's tattered at the edges, like a semblance of high dress that has been worn and enduring the elements of some time in Bastos. You immediately get the sense that this individual either wishes to dress above their station or is definitely not from the city. Kind of glances up at the monocle.
So this is, you trust these people?
Well, I mean, I kind of have to. It's my daughter, Fern. It's Hondir.
Hello, Hondir.
Which one of you are faithful?
Faithful? To like a spiritual god of some sort?
That's what you pray to.
Actually, do either of us pray?
I'm a little beholden to the moon, but that's about it.
I believe in people.
Same.
Yes, we are,
Okay.
zealots of humanity.
It's a good answer. I like this answer. So, Birdie, we're okay to talk in front of them.
Yes, it's okay to talk. We're, as you can see, I think I have almost enough, hopefully enough, I don't know. I'll have to talk to Ira about it, but we're to try and get as much of this device done. Just so you folks are aware, kind of what I was working on now that she glances back towards the hatch. We're in a less public space here. So from what I understand, and take over please if I start meandering off this, but like there's a lot of these things that run across Exandria. It's called ley lines. They're kind of this net of magical energy, and they at various points that are referred to as nexuses, fantastical things can happen. Sometimes this is where doorways can open to different realms. This is where certain rituals can be extremely potent, and specifically at certain times of the year, right?
This is correct. So, there is a unique network of ley lines across Marquet, specifically within the Hellcatch Valley. Or at least recently there is. Things are shifting. And we believe this to be the sign of an upcoming apogee solstice. So there is a thing called celestial solstice. Every a few decades, there is specific alignments of astral bodies, and specific energies tend to overlap and create a synchronization or harmonization of powerful entities. And what it does is it then makes these nexuses even more potent. This is used for great and terrible effect, depending on how history wishes to look at it. But the apogee solstice is a rare thing indeed. I'm a graduate of the EOS Sanctuary.
The what?
The you?
EOS Sanctuary.
EOS Sanctuary.
Or seminary, my apologies. When we began to discover this theoretical pattern of this coming solstice, and the places of unity began to work in a way where our theories were pushing it towards the Hellcatch. Meaning at the time of this solstice, we believe that one of these nexuses will be relocated somewhere here in the valley. As part of this information, we began to discover other political interests that were also trying to shut down our research, that were speaking with some of the higher-ups at the seminary and getting our departments closed down, having our funding pulled, being told to walk away.
Are they really trying to stop it, or are they trying to control it?
I have reason to believe that the interests lie more in the latter. So, a number of my compatriots have been continuing our research on our own. Through private funding, investors, allies that we had, but even they've begun to dry up, or worse. Anybody who's been tied to our work has either gone missing or befallen tragedy.
Does the name Grim Verity mean anything to you?
You look and see an immediate sense of acknowledgement and briefly worry, and then an exhale. Yes, so you indeed know more than you let on. I am one of many members of the Verity. I say many, but there is a handful still around. We've lost members as of late. How do you know about the Verity?
We're trying to follow a trail. You didn't by any chance know the Loomis twins, did you?
You knew them?
They were more recent members of our band who, unfortunately, their excitement got them in places that they should not have been. We tried to protect them, but I think their search for knowledge, unfortunately, their lack of experience left a trail.
I'm trying to find the people who slew them. They got in too deep. As you say, do you know anything about
the Grey Assassins?
Yes.
They've removed at least half of our members in just the past couple of years. We were once a comparably sprawling network of a good 40 or so academics from all over Exandria.
Do you know who
they tried to get your Wind Queen, right?
took a shot at it, yeah.
What does she have to do with ley lines and...
Who are you speaking of?
The ruler of the air, Shari, and Teldori. I looked to Birdie. Start over from the top when blades are not drawn. Walk us through what it is that you guys are doing here.
We took a little vacation out here and we held up in the verdant expanse Teldori and just watched the stars, and after I gave birth to you, something weird happened. Had a weird red moon that I didn't really know much about. It just kind of lit up. We thought it was a beautiful omen. And then began to ask about it and heard maybe that wasn't the case. Began kind of looking into it a little bit, and there was a tumultuous history about this Ruidus. Then Ollie, he had this terrible dream, we thought it was. This idea that same red moon that brought you into this world was following us. And when it was going to find us or find you, it was going to... Well, he saw that red just eat away at the Fey realm. That light just burn it into dust. And we thought it was a dream, but then within the next year, it showed up briefly in the sky. And so we started poking around. We started looking for why they were doing this. Because we thought it pertained to you and your safety. And we saw this meeting, this clandestine sort of gathering of some of the higher court members. And they were meeting with some folk not from the Feywild, dressed too nice and terrestrial, like a flare. And they were all building in the process of designing this machine that was focused towards the red moon. We got enough gumption, had a couple drinks, and broke in and stole what looked like the shiniest piece of that machine and ran. By the time we figured out what we had, the Moodtine Crown, we realized this was a little more intense than even we were expecting, but...
What did they look like? Did you see a woman with gray hair kind of over to the side? Intense armor?
Yeah, like a red cloak.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she... You know this one?
I know this woman.
Yeah, it was her and another.
She's here.
Oh.
That woman, she's here.
She's
Do you see the goblin like, she's here? She goes and like grabs the stone.
No, not like right now, but she's in Basilius. She's running the Paragon's Call.
I see her in my dreams.
Otahan.
What's worrying me is... And I have to check with compatriots, but we've done a few calculations, and it seems like the apogee solstice is going to be largely focused over Marquet when it hits in a month. And by the shifting of these ley lines, there are 3 possible locations where these nexuses might be, and we won't know until we're closer. And what Birdie has been working on hopefully might be able to shed some light on that. There's
what are the 3 options?
The other 2s we're looking is, one might be in the Panagrip Sands, and one might be in the ocean northward of the Hondir Wilds.
Panagrip Sands, the ocean north of the Odiran Wilds.
Here.
And here in the Hellcatch. The interesting thing is, for those of us that utilize instruments to research things about Ruidus, beyond just visual presentation, magical instruments, there is an obfuscation. It seems to evade any sort of probing device to look on any sort of magical understanding of it.
What does? What does?
Ruidus.
Someone who understands these things more than me, how is the moon appearing in a different world than ours? Do they share the same sky?
There is the Fae Realm, where you are from, and there is also a Shadow Realm that are both very close and almost overlap. They are the most immediate realms of transference if you were to travel beyond the realms of Exandria. But they share a different cosmology, or at least are removed from Exandrian's cosmology. The only reason that there is a Katha moonlight within the Feywild is because the Moonweaver's essence is tethered to that land, and so there is essentially an image of Katha that exists in this world.
But Ruidus is finding a way in.
Indeed.
So maybe there's some divine entity allowing it?
Oh, yeah, divine maybe. Divine's a touchy thing.
For you?
Look. My life is in danger. Many of my compatriots at the Verity's lives are in danger. The more you know, the less safe you are.
To be honest with you, we sort of are like really entrenched in whatever we're compromised. Yep. We're already in the shit.
You can see his hand shaking a little bit.
Are you sure you want to know this?
Yeah.
Well, now I do.
More than
absolutely.
anything.
I don't know. I think I'm ready to just leave.
Looks to Birdie, and Birdie goes,
There's been another recent finding that has focused and redoubled the Grim Verity's efforts and interests as of late. A member of ours who is a researcher in Vasselheim discovered ancient texts from as far back as the founding. Some of the earliest written records of Exandrian history, kept deep under lock and key in the temple vaults of the Dawn City. And because of this information, the ire of the highest temples are upon the Verity, upon myself. But this truth is important, both pertaining to this scenario and just for the world to know. While the study needs to continue, the Verity believes it references in the highest temples that there is a time before Ruidus. There are texts where Katha was the only moon above. A period of time in the founding in which Ruidus did not exist.
So who put the moon there?
That is the question. This is one of the things that began the heavier studies into the Omen archive. The other thing is apparently some of these texts refer to two gods that don't exist in the Pantheon.
What?
And haven't since. forgotten deities. So,
do you know if they're good gods or bad gods?
I don't have them. They are in Eos with trusted folk, I hope. I have not heard back any word in the past month.
The texts.
Yes.
I just want to track it. So we got people from the Fey Wild trying to come after us, and people from Vasselheim coming after the texts.
Yes.
Are they?
I told you, this was dangerous information.
No, I just wanted to know what league we were playing in.
Are the Grey Assassins an entirely separate threat? Or are they out of Vasselheim?
I don't know. They could very well be out of Vasselheim.
Everybody wants.
Is there anybody else involved in this at this point? Like the Shadow Realm people, are they having ruinous issues too? I don't know.
I don't know. You have to talk to Bryn. There's a member of the Verity who, their specialization is in traversing various realms.
What's their name?
Rin.
Oh.
What? Who?
Ren.
This
Planewalker Ren. Oh, right.
Hang on, wait.
How do we know? How do we know?
Hang on.
The campaign?
Yeah. Well, you briefly went into a laboratory in the Fireplane campaign.
That was theirs.
too. That was theirs, yeah.
The Loomis twins had texts that had information about my mother that was stolen by the Grey Assassins. My mother was also Ruidus-born.
Huh. Also Ruidus-born.
And she,
Like you.
And she has dreams, wild dreams about a large storm and...
Both of them look at each other and look back.
They're connected.
What was your mother's name?
Liliana.
Liliana Timhold.
Yeah. Do you know her?
We've met, though it was a while ago.
Not a while?
It was a while.
It's a while. She was a number of our... how do I put it? Our volunteers for part of the Omen archive study. She was in Eos. She came to the seminary to be part of the research. She was gifted with incredible capabilities. She was able to see beyond her eyes. She was able to affect the world around her in incredible ways. She was one of a few that had come to us exhibiting these powers.
I look down. Is there a bottle or anything on the ground? I'm just gonna pick it up and drift it over to him.
And it seems that line of fortune seems to follow in your path. Oh, I am so sorry.
And are you hoping that the weave lens tells you information when you look at Ruidus?
I guess. Well, this is not my prerogative. This is what Maury was supposed to build for us. That's what I reached out to her for. I just wasn't expecting her to send you along with it.
Does anyone other than Ira know how this thing works and what it does?
I don't think, other than Ira and Ollie, I don't think so.
Great.
And why would your grandmother send you?
Because it's gonna
I guess she's not my grandmother, so
Well,
Maybe she knew you needed to see.
maybe.
let me at least express that Maury's as close to her grandmother as I had. She kind of helped watch over me when I was younger and didn't really have much guidance. Kept me on enough of a leash as I needed, but let me loose enough to figure out what I was good at. Kind of twiddled her fingers a little bit. But she's an odd duck in her own right.
So you have what you need for your experiments or whatever, and it's dangerous to be around you, I suppose. So do you need protection, or should we just leave you alone to do your experiments, or?
Oh, I have to back up, obviously, if these assassins have come so close. And to be honest, how safe is your domain? You got room for a small goblin, maybe?
And he grabs like a bag and starts like throwing some books into it, reaches over and grabs a big map and rolls it up, puts it inside, grabs a couple other pieces of goods in a small like hand like jewelry box and puts it inside there. Shall we?
What are we gonna do with the telescope? Just look at it? See what it is? See if it works?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
And to talk to... maybe Papa Ollie will have some insight
more
for you about
information?
dreams.
I'm
Or...
gonna assassinate the Nightmare King. It's a bit busy trip.
He's the guy building the thing. We can't assassinate him.
Bill comes due, motherfucker.
All right. So with that, begin to gather their things. You all go ahead and take some time to check up eventually on the repairs. And about 2 o'clock in the afternoon or so, Mahara Joe finishes up. He's like, well, not the best job I've done, but functional through and through. Here you go. Your crawler should be ready for travel and however you need.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Eventually, you steer your vehicle over to the exterior of the familiar kind of Tudor-style ridiculousness that is the taste of Taldore. And there in the shade among the alley towards where the back is, you see the front wheel of a skirmish crawler. They're kind of settled and parked inside. And sitting on top of it as you approach, you can see Birdie, helmet on, goggles on, jacket at the ready, a kind of like heavy scarf kind of thrown over the back, and she just kind of looks out. All right, y'all ready?
Let's roll.
And you watch as the two legs kind of like prep behind. The wheel begins to spin as dust begins to kick up and the legs kick off. As the crawler skirts around the outside and the hum turns into from a purr to a heavy, loud, guttural growl. As folks kind of like dart out of the way as you just kind of scream on by. And then as the skids begin to eventually dissipate, there before you, the open, cracked, dusty expanse of the Hellcatch Valley. You push forward, leaving but a trail of dust in your wake towards the horizon. And that's where we're going to finish tonight's episode.